Hi guys, as you know, I'm Vincent van Genechten at VV on Twitter, a diehard Juve fan. I write for Football Italia, sometimes for UVFC.com. I write for Euro Fantasy League and others. And on request from a couple of my, or shall I say, a bunch of my Twitter followers, I will give my opinion on Juve's summer mercato thus far after a month because it's halfway. Started the 1st of July, it's the 31st of July, or already the 1st of August. So we're halfway, and I'm going to give my opinion on what Juve has done so far and what they are possibly going to do until Serie A starts on August 20th with a home game at against Fiorentina, which should be a cracker. Let's start with the obvious one, which is Gonzalo Higuain. There are a couple of dimensions on this transfer. First off, there's a price, of course, the 90 million euros to be paid by Juventus to Napoli in 2 years, which makes it a bit more bearable for Juve finances. It's a lot of money. It makes him the third most expensive player ever after Bale and Ronaldo, which of course could be broken by Pogba, but we'll talk about the Frenchman later. Actually, it's an overpay. It's that clear that Juve paid too much money for Higuain. He's not worth 90 million euros. He's turning, like many people have said, he's turning 29 in December. I'm not a fan of this age bashing because I believe footballers are at their best between the ages of 27 and 32. So he's at the middle of his peak. He's got at least 3 more years, 3 more great years ahead of him. For example, Zlatan Ibrahimovic scored a massive amount of goals for PSG at the age of 34. There are other examples like Cristiano Ronaldo is 31, Messi is, I believe, 29. So wouldn't you pay 150 million for Messi and Ronaldo? Of course you would. So I believe Juventus have paid the 90 million because they know what they're getting from Higuain. Um, like you got Barcelona who bought Andre Gomez, who's 22 for 50 million. You get Bayern Munich getting an 18-year-old Portuguese guy, Renato Sanchez for a big amount of money, 35 million. Manchester United paid 50 million for Anthony Martial. I mean, that's paying for potential. I mean, Martial and other players that I mentioned, they can be great, but you will know Higuain will be great. And that's the whole point of the massive amount of 90 million that they are going to pay for him during the next 2 years. And I just agree with that approach. You have to pay. I'd rather pay for experience, for knowing what you're going to get from a player, instead of paying for potential and probably or maybe going to get something from him. You're not quite sure what you're gonna. Barcelona is not sure what they're going to get from Andre Gomez. It's just that simple. Even Napoli are not going to know what they're going to get from Icardi if you're going to spend 70 million on him. They probably know, but it's not sure. Higuain will score at least 20 goals in Serie A with Juventus. It's that simple. And the other part, of course, next to the fee that Juventus is going to pay is what kind of player they're going to get from Higuain. Like I said, Higuain is a goal scorer. He's one of the best. I'm not going to say he's the best goal scorer or the best number nine in Europe, because he's one of the best. He's top five. There are not many number nines that are better. You got Luis Suarez, Robert Lewandowski, maybe Antoine Griezmann, Sergio Aguero, but it pretty much ends there. Um, so Higuain is a top player. He wanted Juve. He wanted to stay. He could have gone to Arsenal for probably much more money. But he wanted to play in Serie A. He wanted to play for Juve. So why not get him? Napoli wasn't going to negotiate. Too bad for them. I think they could have gotten a better deal even. Something like 70 million plus Roberto Pereira and Simone Zella, but De Laurentiis refused to negotiate, so Juventus had to take drastic measures and pay the release clause for Higuain, which was the 90 million. It's a lot, it's an overpay, but once again, Juve know what they are getting from Higuain. Higuain will score a lot of goals for Juventus, especially his partnership with Paulo Dybala could be great. I believe Dybala will benefit massively from playing with a top gun like Higuain. He will develop his playmaking skills a lot. I think he will still score his fair share of goals. He will score maybe even 25 goals. I'm not sure because defenses are gonna pay a lot of attention to Higuain, which could free up a lot of space for Dybala to work his magic. So I think it's beneficial for everyone, for the whole Juventus team that Higuain is there. He's ready to show the world he's not a bottler like people are saying that okay, he missed some chances in the two Copa America finals, in the World Cup finals, but I've seen Cristiano Ronaldo play a very bad Champions League finals, and nobody's saying anything about it. So I mean, Higuain will be gold for Juventus either way or another. So yes, it's an overpay, but I believe it will be worth it, especially if you will win the Champions League, which would be like the holy grail, of course. To the other one, it was one of the first ones transfers that Juve did this summer, which was of course Milan Pjanic for 32 million from AS Roma. Like with Higuain, they weakened one of their biggest rivals, in this case AS Roma. Pjanic is of course 26. He's probably the best playmaker in Serie A for years now, and getting him for 30 million. Actually, it was 38 million, but Pjanic gave his 6 million share to Juventus to just come to Juventus. Another sign that star players uh, or a set of star players wants to play in Serie A, wants to play for Juventus because they know it's a big team. They know they can win the Champions League. They know they are probably going to win another Scudetto, which would be a record sixth in a row. I mean, it's the Pjanic and Higuain deals are the biggest sign, or the most important sign that Juventus are back from dead like they were 10 years ago when they were in Serie B. When I watched them play, I watched them play for my 18th birthday. I watched Del Piero score 3 goals in a 5-0 win. I'm not sure against who it was. Could be Cesena or something, but Juventus are 10 years after are back, and the Pjanic and Higuain deals are just the clear example of that. And Pjanic handing a written request to AS Roma saying, "I want to play for Juventus, make it happen." It's somewhat flattering for Juve because they're weakening, in my opinion, their biggest rival for next season, meaning Roma, because I believe Inter and AC Milan are, especially AC Milan, are way behind. Inter are behind Napoli losing Wayne. Depends on what they're going to do with the money. If they're going to get Icardi, don't think that Inter are going to sell Icardi because they should for 70 million, but I don't think they're going to do it. But Roma would be Juve's biggest opponent, biggest rival next season for the Scudetto, and they basically wrapped up their sixth in a row by getting Pjanic from them because they have to rely on Strootman, who basically can't play 2 games in a row without being injured. So it will be massive. And I think Pjanic together with he already showed a great understanding with Dybala. They're going to cut open defenses like it's nobody's business, and with Higuain there finishing, with Marquisio Khedira when they come back from an injury behind them, I think Juve could easily score 100 goals next season. I'm not going to say they're going to do it, but I think they could, and I think Pjanic could be could work very well with Bala, with Higuain, with even with Mandzukic, who's great in his own right. Next up, Marco Piaca. This is a signing I really like because last season you saw Juve, the only really speedy guy who had pace on the wing. We had some creative dribbles. We had Dybala, of course, but he was playing not really as a winger, but as a second striker. So Juve lacked a bit of pace and speed on the wing with good crosses. Of course, you had Lichtsteiner, you had Sandro, and Evra, but Juan Corrado was their only offensive winger, good offensive winger they had, and of course he's come back to Chelsea, and they had to address this. They needed they needed this pace, this speed on the wing, and I think Piaka. I'm not going to say like his agent sees them is a combination of Kaka and Cristiano Ronaldo, but if you look at his highlights, the kid has got talent. He's very powerful. He's very strong. He looks like a real gem with amazing skills, technique, dribbling ability, and I think he's going to be. He's only 21. I think he's going to be could could be able to come in for Dybala if he's injured or suspended or he has to be arrested. I think he's going to be great. He can play on the left wing. He's got he's right-footed, but he also got a very good left foot to cross with and to score. Even with he can play on the left, he can play on the right. He can play as a striker. He can play as a second striker, even as an attacking midfielder if possible. I think it's just an amazing signing for 23 million, which is it's a decent amount, but it's what you're getting from Pjaka for years to come, because he also, which was revealed today, that he turned down more money from Milan, he turned down Liverpool, he turned down Dortmund, because he really wanted to play for Juventus, and that is like with Pjanic, like with Higuain. You need players who want to play for your team, who have the heart to play for your team, and it just adds to Juve's mental strength, I believe, to add such kind of players. And I believe Piaka will be a star. Not next season or the next, but in the future he will be a star player and he will add quality next season already. So then number four, of course, is Mehdi Benatia. Um, it's another great signing. You can't say nothing else about it. He comes in on a loan for 3 million, potential to buy for 17, 18 million, which I think they should do because Benatia is, of course, he's injury prone, but he has shown in his time at Bayern and, of course, in his time with AS Roma that he's a very good defender. His positional play is very good. His passing is very decent. He's I kind of see him as a somewhat of a light version of Bonucci. He doesn't have the star defensive skills like Bonucci, but I think he comes close. And of course, like we saw in this preseason, the man just can score goals on corners, on free kicks, and so he's very strong with his head in aerial duels, and he's just an added dimension. And I believe he will play enough games, which is not so good for Daniele Rogani's development. But I believe Rogani will play his fair share of games too. So it's a long season. If you really want to go for the Champions League, for Serie A, they probably want to wrap that up pretty. pretty soon to really focus on the Champions League. There is also the Coppa Italia. I believe Benatia will play and show Juve that he's worth the buy, and I think Juve will buy him because he's just a very good defender. Can't say nothing more about it. Then next on, very early, of course, Juve signed. Oh, first off, let's go to Dani Alves. Of course, I almost forgot him. Well, Dani Alves comes in for free. The man is a blur on the wing. I've never been such a fan of him, I have to admit, because at Barcelona I was like he was only running forward and defensively. I thought I've always believed he made too much mistakes or too easy mistakes, and like guys like Puyol and Mascherano had to cover a lot of his mistakes. But of course, at Barcelona, defense wasn't really the big strength. It was of course their offensive-minded football, and Dani Alves played the perfect role in that on that right wing, and I think he could play a massive role at Juve just by being there. He's a great locker room guy, I believe, which you need, and of course they lost Simone by the wing. And I think Alves will come in with his experience. He will fire up people, and he will just go nuts on the right wing. He's a great crosser. He's a warrior. He will add an enormous amount of quality to Juve on that right wing and give Stefan Lichtsteiner some must needed rest when needed because I don't want to write off Lichtsteiner because I believe Lichtsteiner is as good as Alves as a right winger who can go forward like no one else in Europe, I believe. Then now we go to Juve's actual first. I said it was Pjanic, but the first summer signing actually was Mario Lemina, of course, the defensive or central midfielder who came in on loan from Marseille, and Juve paid 9.5 million euros to get him permanently to Turin. And he didn't play a lot of games last season, but the games he played, he was just he wasn't always very good, but he was decent. He never was bad because in the Verona game they lost at the end of the season. Everyone was bad, so even the Pava didn't have a good game. So I'm not counting that game. And you can see that Lemina is somewhat to me a better version potentially than N'Golo Kante, which Juve wanted, of course, and eventually he joined Chelsea. But Lemina can be a very good regista, a one who can fill in for Marquisio when he has to take a rest or he gets injured. Hopefully not. Um, gets injured once again. Um, his passing is good. He's good in his duels. He's pretty good dribbler actually. We saw against Tottenham. He had some massive dribbles there. And he has some forward runs. He made a great goal against Atalanta, I believe, last season. I think the kid can be a fixed starter in Juve's midfield in some time, and we should hold on to him. Don't sell him, please. Um, then, of course, we come to the big one of the biggest one of all when it comes to the Porsches, and then which leads to possibly another incoming player, which is Paul Pogba, of course. Um, for a long time, I didn't believe, maybe I didn't want to believe, but I didn't believe Pogba was going to leave Juve this season because with the arrivals of Pjanic and Alves and Higuain and the other ones, it would be foolish for him really to leave now. I've never believed that Pogba would have remained at Juve behind 2018 when probably Buffon and Barzagli will retire. But leaving now for Manchester United, a team that is in full transition, who will be better next season with Ibrahimovic, with Mkhitaryan, and of course with Mourinho as their coach. But it makes no sense really to join them at this point unless it's just a financial move, which of course you can't blame him if he's going to earn triple his salary. I mean, 30 million euros. He's making 4.5 at Juve right now, which they could uh, bring up to 7 million. But it's still just half of what he could earn at United. Okay, I get it. If he does it, I will not blame him because he had 4 great years at Juve. He was an important player. I still feel he isn't overhyped in my opinion. He's got everything you want from a modern midfielder. He's got he's got he's great. He's creative. He's got skills. He got dribbles. He got run. His running is amazing. He's very strong in duels. He covers a lot of ground in a box-to-box midfield role. I mean, every team should have a guy like Pogba, in my opinion. And Juve will lose, especially his running and his dual power will be missed if he leaves because now I still think he's going to leave. I have accepted it last week that he's going to leave. Then Raiola came with news that there's still no agreement. I think he will leave. You will get 120 million euros for him, and that's it. I think it will happen. It needs to happen soon because, of course, in 3 weeks, Serie A season starts. This new Serie A season starts, and if you want to get a guy to replace Pogba, you have to start negotiations, which Marotta and Paratici will probably have done already. But you have to finish negotiations, then finish the deal, then work him into the team, and it's not easy to get a guy worked up in like 1 week or something. So the deal has to happen this week or it won't, in my opinion. If he stays, I'm happy. If he goes for 100 million, 120 million euros, which will be a world record, so be it. We'll probably get a solid replacement, and I'll be happy as well. So on to replacements for Pogba. Of course, there are a number of names out there, like Nemanja Matic, who would be great, in my opinion. Blas Matuidi would also be a good addition. I'm not sure, I prefer Matic over Matuidi. Matic he's got some extra, in my opinion. I'm not sure how to explain it, but Matuidi is just a player who works hard, in my opinion. Matic is also a pretty good passer. He's big. He can win aerial duels, and Matuidi is just a very good runner. A guy who would add quality to Juve's midfield. But Matic has got something, an extra dimension, in my opinion. But I don't think Conte will sell him, despite getting Conte. I don't think Juve will get Matuidi because PSG is probably going to ask a lot of money for him, like 35 to 40 million, which is an amount Juve isn't going to pay. Um, so I guess leaving those two out, we got Marcelo Brozovic is named, Matej Kovacic is named, but I don't think those are options who are going to come to Juve. So for me, it's down to two players, meaning Axel Witsel from Zenit, St. Petersburg, and a Belgian international, so I know him well. And Hector Herrera from Porto. Herrera hasn't been mentioned a lot. I've watched some highlights from him. I've read of some stuff about him. I think he would cover. He's a bit like a better version of Matuidi, in my opinion. He's also a runner. He wins a lot of duels. but he's got more athleticism. He's got more. He scores pretty easily. He's more versatile, so I think he's available for like 25, around 25 million euros. He's 26 years old. He's been the captain of Porto. He's been in the Champions League. I think he would be a perfect fit for Juve. Witsel would be my first, or my one B option, but like just below Herrera because um, I know people criticize Witsel for being too slow, for having played in Portugal. After Belgium, you went to Benfica, and then you went to Zenit, and he has played there for a couple of years now. And they say, yeah, he's played in Russia. He hasn't gone to Europe, so he mustn't be that good. I'm here to say that Axel Witsel is a very good player. He's not as a regista, but as a box-to-box role, which would be the position in midfield we need to replace. He is very good. He doesn't lose the ball. He's pretty solid in duels. He's pretty strong on the ball, off the ball. Yeah, he's a bit slow, but I think his pace is perfect for Serie A. Paul Pogba isn't a speedy player or a player who plays very fast. Well, Witsel isn't fast also, but he just knows his timing is okay when he runs forward. He doesn't score a lot of goals. He's not a very awesome passer, but I just think with his running, with his timing, with his experience in Champions League, it's on an international level. I think it would be a very good fourth midfielder for Juve. That's all I got to add to that. So that was it. It was an experiment. I hope you liked it. If you like me to do more of this kind of videos on Juve, on the mercato, on games, on any news related topics, just tweet me at VV, dus zo two V's, Genichten, GENECHTN VV Genichten on Twitter, and I'll try to do another one. So, bye.